So growing up in my family, my grandparents used to have a place up in Canada that we would visit every summer. I learned to cook fish before I learned to cook anything else. So I found this place that will sell me fish at a discounted price because it's like pieces that the restaurant won't use. So they're irregular shapes and sizes, but it's wild caught mahi-mahi at a really good price. So today I'm going to teach you how to cook the fish that my grandmother taught me to cook when I could just reach the stove. So I start with my electric skillet. You can also do it on your stove if you want. I just made it easier by doing it over here. I have 4 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to melt in my electric skillet. And while that is melting, we're going to season our fish. So I have 1.5 pounds of mahi-mahi. I have 2 teaspoons of chili powder that I'm just going to sprinkle over the top of, like so. I have 2 teaspoons of salt. We're going to do the same thing with. And then I have a teaspoon of white pepper. Remember that I use less white pepper because it's spicier than black pepper. So if you're going to use black pepper, you could probably do 2 teaspoons. You just don't need it when you're using the white pepper. Then I'm going to flip my fish over. Piece by piece. Move my butter over to that side of the pan. And then I'm going to season the other side the same way. I missed 2. So I'm going to go the backwards route. It doesn't matter which order you do it in as long as you get all of the seasonings on your fish. I'm going to start with the the white pepper. And then my salt. And I took out 2 teaspoons, but I probably won't use it all. We don't use a lot of salt in our house, and so if I use all of it, my husband will look at me like, what happened? This is super salty. And then chili powder. This is also the first time I have made this and measured out ingredients. My grandmother didn't measure, she just eyeballed it. So you need at least those seasonings, but if you don't use it all, don't panic. Now that I have the butter everywhere, I'm just going to take my mahi-mahi pieces and I'm going to put them down in my skillet. Now, fish takes almost no time at all to cook, so it's only 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and then it is fully cooked. So we're going to leave those for just a couple minutes and then we'll flip them to the other side. So my fish has been on the electric skillet. I have it at 400 degrees. Now we're going to flip it over. See how nice and white it is? That means it's done cooking on that side. And we're just going to flip each piece and let it cook for another 2 minutes on the other side. Alright, so our fish has cooked just another 1.5 minutes on all 3 of these pieces. So we're going to put those off to the side as well. And then I'm going to melt another 4 tablespoons of butter. Don't worry, you don't end up eating all of the butter. You really don't end up eating any of it, but if I don't melt enough butter, then the almonds that we're about to cook will burn. And we don't want burnt almonds. So my favorite thing about my grandmother's dish, she would make onions and mushrooms too, but my family doesn't eat that. So I took my favorite part of it, which was almonds. I have 1.5 cups And I'm just going to pour them in the same skillet we cooked the fish in, so they have that same flavor. And we have to stir these around constantly, because if they stay for too long on the bottom of the skillet, they will burn. If you don't have enough butter, they'll burn. Almonds are really finicky, but they're so good with fish. So, and if you have extra seasoning, you can add it to your almonds now. Or you can just let them cook in that butter and the leftover seasonings from the fish. So really what we're doing is getting them nice and crispy. And they're a nice complement to our fish. These will cook for just a couple minutes. So it's only been about 3-4 minutes and our almonds are done. Now we're going to plate them and we're ready to have dinner.